You know, it feels like we're talking to our devices more and more, right? In your car, at a drive-thru, it's pretty much everywhere. There's a huge shift happening. And today, we're going to dive into this voice AI explosion by looking at one company that is just taking off. And that company is SoundHound.
Okay, let's just start with this number, 217%. I mean, what even is that? Well, that's the year-over-year revenue growth for SoundHound AI. A number like that, it's not just a statistic, it's a giant flashing sign that something big is going down in this space, right now.
So a number like that, yeah, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's a huge signal. So let's unpack the story behind SoundHound's breakout. So to put that 217% into real dollars, just in the second quarter of 2025, SoundHound pulled in over $42 million. And look, this wasn't just a good quarter. It was their best quarter ever. So good, in fact, that they had to raise their financial forecast for the entire rest of the year.
But honestly, the real story isn't just about right now. It's about what's coming. Yeah, the revenue projection for the year is huge. But look at that booking backlog. $1.2 billion. That's money already on the books. That's companies already saying, yes, we want this. And this is all playing out in an industry that could be worth $140 billion. The sheer scale of this, it's just wild.
All right, for anyone who follows the markets, here's another number for you, 96. What's that? It's SoundHound's relative strength stock rating. So what does that mean in plain English? It means it's performing better than 96% of all other stocks out there. It's basically the market shouting that it has massive confidence in where this company's going.
Okay, so the numbers are pretty mind-blowing, right? But that's just one part of the puzzle. The real question is, where are you and I actually seeing this stuff? Where is voice AI showing up in the real world?
Well, the short answer is pretty much everywhere. You'll find it in your next Kia or Lucid. You'll probably talk to it when you're ordering at a Chipotle or a White Castle drive-thru. It's behind the scenes automating customer service for brands like Casey's, and it's even making things run smoother in healthcare with places like Allina Health. It's like this tech is quietly becoming the new backbone for the entire service industry.
And this really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The idea of having a real conversation with an AI, it's not science fiction anymore. It's not a what if, it's happening as we speak, and it's totally changing the game for how we deal with, well, everything.
So what's the secret sauce here? How does it work so well? A big part of it is their own tech, something they call speech-to-meaning. Now, the key thing to get here is that it figures out what you mean in one single go. It doesn't have to write down your words first and then try to guess what you wanted. This one-step process, it makes it ridiculously fast and way more accurate than the old way of doing things.
Okay, so SoundHound is a fantastic example, a great case study. But let's be real, their success is riding a much, much bigger wave. To really get what's going on, we need to zoom out and ask, why is this whole voice AI thing blowing up right now?
It pretty much boils down to three big things. First, and this is the simple one, it's just easier. Talking is way more natural than tapping on a tiny screen, right? Second, the tech is finally ready. The AI is now smart enough to actually understand how we really talk, with all our weird phrases and accents. And third, the payoff for businesses is massive. We're talking automating tasks, slashing costs, and making customers happier, all at the same time. It's a no-brainer.
And look, if you want proof, just follow the money. In 2022, investors poured about $315 million into this space. Fast forward just 2 years, and that number has exploded to $2.1 billion. That's not a small jump. That's a rocket ship. The smart money is going all in on voice.
Okay, hang on. I want you to really let this next one sink in. Right now, there are 8.4 billion digital voice agents out there. That is more than the number of people on Earth. Let me say that again. More voice assistants than humans. This tech isn't coming soon. It's already here on a scale that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
So that's where we are today, which is pretty incredible. But what about tomorrow? Where's all this heading? Well, the future's all about making these interactions truly, genuinely conversational. Think about the leap we're making, Yesterday's assistants, they're kind of dumb. You had to use the exact right phrase or they wouldn't get it. Simple commands, one device. That's it. But tomorrow's assistant, totally different ballgame. It'll understand context, it'll mix voice with what you see, and it'll just work in the background without you even having to think about it.
And this next wave, it's going to feel like magic. We're talking about assistants that get you. They'll understand not just what you say, but your gestures, maybe even the emotion in your voice. They'll remember what you talked about on your phone when you switched to your laptop. They'll become agents that can act for you. And they'll do it all over the world in tons of different languages. It's a huge step up.
But of course, with all this incredible power comes a huge responsibility, right? As this tech gets woven deeper and deeper into our lives, building our trust is everything. Things like ethics, privacy, and making sure we're always in control. That's not just important, it's going to be absolutely critical.
All right, so we've looked at the crazy numbers, the cool tech, and where it's all headed. Let's bring it all home. What does this voice AI revolution actually mean for you?
Look, the takeaway here is pretty straightforward. If you're running a business, this is your wake-up call. You have to start thinking about voice. And if you're a developer, a creator, an entrepreneur, this is a wide-open field. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity. We are literally at the start of a whole new way of interacting with technology.
And that brings me to the last thing I want to leave you with, a big question. As voice becomes the easiest, most natural way to do, well, anything digital, are we heading for a future where we look back at apps and keyboards and think, wow, remember when we used to type? Like how we think about flip phones today? Just something to think about.